It seems like I'm not the only one that got a haircut today. We can see that Supermicro, unfortunately, is down over 13% after reporting earnings. The stock is sitting at $535. Now, unfortunately, this is dragging Nvidia down, and Supermicro did kind of discuss a little bit about the Blackwell delays. So I want to take a closer look at Supermicro earnings and obviously some recent news impacting Nvidia in general. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So I do believe there's one major reason for Supermicro's demise right now, or their overall haircut, is the company's gross margin was 11.2% versus 15.5% in the third quarter and versus the 17% of same quarter last year. Supermicro has mentioned that they're really focusing on staying within that 14 to 17% range. So this, in my opinion, is a lot of investors are worried about the semiconductor AI server space because it seems to be one that's going to be very competitive and it's going to be more of a pricing power. And if you have watched most of my videos, this is what I've talked about of being one of the biggest bearish case for AI servers is the overall kind of pricing war that they have to go to. Some other things Supermicro mentioned is they did mention that they are authorizing a 10-for-1 split, which is going to happen on October 1st of 2024. So a few months from now, but I can't believe we are already in August. Now, what really got me excited is the company did guide us for 2025 fiscal year, so about 12 months from now. And they mentioned that they expect their revenue to be somewhere between $26 to $30 billion. And first, that is a huge beat, as most analysts were actually expecting somewhere around 23.4 billion in forms of revenue for this upcoming fiscal year. And I want to say this is, in my opinion, more bullish news for Nvidia in general. I mean, if this company on the top end is still expecting to grow AI servers by 100%, a good portion of that money is going to be all thanks to Nvidia's AI chips, right? So it kind of showcases that Nvidia's AI chips are still in high demand and there's no slowing down, at least for AI servers at the moment. Now, because the gross margins took a hit, it is impacting a lot of these AI server companies, as it showcases that, hey, look, even if revenue goes up, you guys are going to be losing maybe on margins. Margins are going to continue to get weaker. So it's not going to be a favorable business for those server sides. But obviously things can change, right? Everybody, we're going to have to hear from all those other players in the AI space. So I am honestly shocked that the overall stock of Nvidia is down roughly 2.6%, because that is great news for the company as we continue to see high demand for Nvidia's chips. And we are going to take a closer look at Nvidia's at Supermicro's earnings transcript, which also shares some information about Blackwell. But I want to take a closer look at some recent price target analysts for Nvidia. So today on August 6th, we did see New Street Research, who has a price target of $120 on Nvidia, upgrade their rating from a neutral to a buy. Yesterday, we did see Goldman Sachs maintain their $135 and buy. And yesterday as well, we saw Deutsche Bank maintain their hold on Nvidia with a price target of $100. So those are some of the most recent analyst price targets that we've had in the past few days. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say thank you all for the support. If you haven't, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. If you want to learn more about the semiconductor market, I do have 2 ebooks. I actually just updated one. So everybody that has purchased the ebook gets the updated version for free, and it should be in your email. That is the Earnings Insight. I added 10 new earnings to that book. Both are living documents, so as I update them, if you purchase, you will get a new updated version via email when that happens. So hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you for the support. The Earnings Insight, if I may say, I know I'm biased on it, but you're gonna get a lot of information for what you're paying. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time. Now, if you have been watching my channel, I have been getting a lot of hate because I've been kind of discussing some of these Blackwell delays. And just a quick overview of my thoughts on this. We have heard that there's some Blackwell delays that are impacting thanks to advanced packaging solutions in TSMC, and it is pushing Blackwell maybe a few months out. While it does seem like that might be the case, I have discussed that right now I believe the demand for all of Nvidia solution, their H100 and H200, are strong enough that we'll be able to offset any weakness coming from the delay of the Blackwell. The second thing is I'm not necessarily worried about the delays because Nvidia is so far ahead of the competition that it is no way that competition is going to catch up anytime soon. So while it can obviously benefit some of the competitors a little bit, I don't believe it's necessarily a bearish case if it is a short-term delay. Now, if it's a multi-quarter delay, that's a whole different story. And Supermicro was kind of the first time we've really heard a public company kind of discuss any thoughts of this delay. And it happened during the Q&A session. So the Q&A session, there were a few analysts that tried to kind of ask about the delays. And we can see here from the first. So one of the questions was that, hey, look, there have been reports more recently about the delay of the Grace Blackwell 200 from Nvidia. How is this going to overall impact the company? So Charles mentions that, hey, look, they've heard that there may be some delays, right? And they treat that as a normal possibility. So right now, Charles, which is the CEO of Supermicro, is kind of showcasing that, hey, look, maybe there might be a delay, but he's not giving a definite answer. He just pretty much mentions that, hey, look, when you're introducing a new product, new technology, there's always the chance that it might either come out a little bit earlier than expected or a little bit later than expected. So Charles mentions, the CEO of Supermicro, that when they are giving guidance, they try to put that in mind already. But right now we can see that Charles just says that there is these reports and they're just kind of going with it. Now, another analyst, Aaron, comes out and says, hey, look, can you tell us a little bit more about Blackwell as we continue to see this being an important key point for investors? Do you believe that you'll be shipping the Blackwell platform solution for revenue in December quarter, or when should they see it? So now Charles mentions, I understand Blackwell may postpone. How much, we don't exactly know because new technology can either be pushed out, right? So for quarter three, they never expected any Blackwell volume, and that's necessarily true. For quarter four, I mean December quarter, it will be very small. Engineering sample, small volume. So the real volume, I believe, had to be in the March quarter of next year, and that's why we only $26 billion to $30 billion in guidance. So overall, I feel like Charles here, where in the previous one was a little bit more beating around the bush, like, hey, we've heard it. I feel like there's a little bit more definite answer here, but not still a true answer. So then later on, we also get another analyst that kind of asks about maybe the puts and takes for the next 12 months in forms of liquid cooling. And Charles, when he talks about liquid cooling, he say, hey, look, it's a necessity and it's very helpful for Blackwell solutions, although Blackwell solution pushed out a little bit. So right now, based on this answer, maybe he just misspoke here, but here it's like he's giving a confirmation that Blackwell has actually been pushed out a little bit, where in the first few answers he was saying that it may have been pushed out. Here he says that it has been pushed out, but indeed he mentions that they have liquid cooling solutions, not just for Blackwell. They're seeing their growth in liquid solutions for H100 and the H200, which they have a lot of customers as well. So again, this showcases both cases for Nvidia that, hey, look, there actually is a high chance that Blackwell is going to be delayed by a few quarters, not necessarily by a few months maybe. Obviously, things can change in the short term, and we have Nvidia's earnings later this month. But based on what we've heard from various industry analysts, now what we're hearing from Supermicro, I'm going to guess the chances of this Blackwell delay is actually more true than false. Regardless, we did hear from Charles that the demand for AI is still very high for AI servers, and the demand for Nvidia's H100 and H200 is still pretty high because the company still guided for nearly 100% revenue growth on the top end of their estimate for the next fiscal year. So again, in my opinion, overall things are looking good for the demand of AI servers. Maybe these Blackwell news may continue to bring negative sentiment to the overall stock, but I think Nvidia is holding up pretty well. In the long term, super bullish. In the short term, anything can happen. Now, just to confirm this, JP Morgan did kind of reduce their annual output of the Blackwell servers. They mentioned that, hey, look, for next year, they were expecting somewhere around 600,000 units to be shipped out of Grace Blackwell 200. Now they're kind of revamping that to about 500,000 units. The final thing I do want to say is it seems like we have gotten a lot of bullish news from earnings this past week. Again, with Supermicro, I mentioned why I believe it's overall bullish for Nvidia. Yesterday, we did have Palantir report earnings, and while I have not read the transcript yet, based on the articles that I'm seeing, it does seem like Palantir did showcase a strong AI growth in software demand. So I will be doing a video later on tomorrow or later this week, if you guys want me, of how Palantir and what they're growing and how it can benefit companies like Nvidia, or kind of showcase this bullish trend for Nvidia. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.